Right guys, we're back again with another YouTube video. Today I'm training some arms, so I'm just going to show you guys my arm session and give you guys a little bit of an update. So with regards to the gym, if you've been watching some of my last videos, we've now been open for members for like 3 weeks, I think it is. And yeah, things are going really smoothly. It feels like it's been like this forever almost. So yeah, things are going smoothly. We've got a good amount of members and people are generally, you know, treating the gym with a lot of respect, and that's good. Well, everyone is. It's been great, and we've got a good group of people within the gym. I was waiting to say lads there. I was waiting to exclude the women for some reason. Got a good group of lads and women as well. And yeah, the gym's it's just been great, to be honest. But as a result, obviously for myself, like, you know, now I'm running 2 businesses, you know, bit of a fucking entrepreneur. They call me the Wolf of Auchterarder High Street, actually. But nah, another bad joke of mine. If you don't like bad jokes, I would just fucking switch on to something else now. But yeah, like, you know, for me, running 2 businesses now, trying to keep on top of my own training as well, it's not the easiest, albeit today is not too bad a day, you know, it's a Saturday, we've got a bit more chill, but like, you know, the 2 businesses, family life, you know, trying to keep on top of everything. I was fucking sitting doing check-ins till like 9 o'clock last night. Again, I wouldn't change it for the world, but there is a lot to kind of manage, and you know, it's one of those things, like the reason I'm saying this and the reason I'm talking about this is because like I feel like a lot of clients kind of get the same thing, a lot overwhelmed. It's trying to manage everything, and I think the main thing you got to do with that is adjust your expectations a little bit. I mean, I'm training 5 times a week at the minute, which is probably more than I should be doing with everything I've got on my plate, but at the same time, you know, I'll be in the gym a lot anyway now, so it kind of helps, and maybe sometimes my sessions are just that last hour of the night sort of thing. But I think when it comes to that, when you've got so much to manage, you've got to be so structured in what you do, you know. I think for me, the minute I went self-employed and the minute like Grace came along as well, and like when you've got kids, you've got to think about them as well. Like, you know, my biggest friend is actually this, I'll show you. And my clients are probably sick to death of hearing about this, but it fucking makes a huge difference. Let's see if I can find it. Google Calendar. I like live my life off Google Calendar. I've got like the whole week is just like planned out in there. So you see those red dots, those are the training ones. Today we're getting 2 birds with 1 stone. We're getting some content and we're training, so there you go. If you can double things up, all the better. But it's easy to make excuses for yourself when you're busy, and you know, I like to think I'm living proof to my clients who are all busy people too, that well actually there is time, you just got to manage it well. So yeah, that's a little rant for the day, but today we're training some arms, which will be some good fun, so we're going to get after it. So yeah, we should probably get a start. So I'm going to go straight back in with some defib, even though I've done like a 2-day caffeine detox for no real reason. Just decided to do it. Woke up one day and I was like, you know what, enough is enough. So I've not had any caffeine for 2 days. I've probably been pushing it a bit too much. That's probably why I felt the need to do this. But yeah, we're going straight in deep with 400 milligrams, so that'll be fun. So this is 2 scoops, isn't it? Just making sure, because this is quite a big serving, this is like 22 grams. No, I'm saying the cups aren't environmentally friendly. I'll end up getting cancelled after this. I'm sure if these are actually, no, they are meant for this kind of stuff, but someone also said to me they also go in the tumble dryer for some fucking reason, so fuck knows. But Lauren up at the massage place up the road told me to get one, so, and they're fucking great, right? But this is going to be painful. So I wish you weren't filming this right now. I've got to be pulling some shitty faces. Ah, fuck. So if you do get a spot where, like me, I just get a lot of tension in my upper back, this definitely helps, but obviously regular treatments would help as well, which is probably what I should do. I went for a massage last week, and it was my first one in 6 months, so I should probably do that a bit more frequently. I'm going to start with a cable preacher curl, so I'm going to bring a bench over just to use as a bit of support on here, so I'll grab it over. You know, this is the first time I've done like a full arm day in fucking years. Like, this is the way I used to train. So my training split for a while. I was just doing like a kind of a back day, a kind of push day, leg day, and then like an upper body day. And then for a long time there, like so I'd done that last competition prep. If anyone keeps up with what I've been doing, I'd done a competition in August, and then between then and opening the gym, things just got mental busy. I had a large influx of new clients in as well, and I just went down to 3 days a week training, sometimes 2. So now that the gym's open and things are somewhat, I don't want to say they're settling down because it's still busy as fuck, probably even worse now, but I'm training a bit more frequently again. And I decided to go back to like the old school bro split I was doing before. So like that's what they call it anyway, a bro split. So like back is usually the first day of the week, and then after that I'll do shoulders and a little bit of triceps. Then we've got leg day, and then we've got chest, and sometimes a little bit of biceps. It depends when this arm day lands. But this is the first time I've actually got onto the arm day. I've got onto the 5th day. So yeah, I used to do that back in, when's that? 2015 maybe was the last time I've done like 5 days a week and done an arm day. So yeah, this will be the first one since then. So it's nothing quite exciting. Okay, so cable preacher curl is what we're starting with. The idea behind this is I try to put a lot of emphasis into like the shortened position, right? So a bit of the boring stuff. When it comes to bicep training, right, you're going to have like this. This is a fully shortened bicep. This is a fully lengthened bicep back here. The thing that's changing there is, well, 2 things that are changing. It's your elbow position. So your elbow's going from being like extended to flexed, and then shoulder position. So this is a flexed shoulder, but this is an extended shoulder. So again, that might sound a little bit confusing if you've never heard it before, but arm straight, shoulder back, that's going to be a full stretch in your bicep because it crosses over that shoulder joint and it crosses over your elbow joint. And this is going to be a fully shortened bicep. So to try and target it into the shortened range as much as possible, we're going to want to be in this position. So that's what we're going to try and do here. We're going to try and get most of the emphasis into there. Put the bench up onto a bit of an incline here because what we're looking to do is recreate that position I was just talking about. We're using the bench for support as well. Having that little extra bit of support, a bit more stability, is going to allow us to do a bit more weight. You can imagine if we were just doing curls out like this, eventually that would become a bit much and we would lose all stability and our force production would essentially be reduced. I said that in a really fucking awkward way, didn't I? But hopefully that makes sense to you. Something we're thinking about too, this is going to be a reoccurring theme, is alignment. So we've got like our wrist, elbow and our shoulder all in line. And then from there, obviously, we're just curling towards our face almost punching ourselves in the face. But right here, because the cable is in line with our arm, there's like next to no tension on the bicep, or next to no torque demand on the bicep, we're going to say. But it's kind of coming to its maximum about here, and then it will drop off a little bit as we get fully shortened, but not too much. We are still going to probably start to fail around about here, okay? So it's not completely taking you right into, it's not completely putting all the load in the fully shortened position, but close enough. It's close enough. A few warm-up sets. This is my first exercise, so I might do a few more warm-up sets than usual. And then we'll find a weight that's going to be like hit and failure between like 8 to 10 reps. That's probably enough. Don't like to go much lower than that for biceps in terms of the rep ranges. But again, I'm not worrying too much about how many reps it is, as long as the intensity is there. That's the main thing. So I already said we're thinking about getting the wrist, elbow and shoulder all in line. That alignment's really important for doing this kind of bicep stuff. But see, with the rest of your body, you're basically twisting until you get into that position, or moving your body until this is all in line. This is the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter where the rest of this stuff is. As long as this stuff's all in line, that's the main thing, okay? So as long as we've got alignment there. So you might see me like twisted round in weird positions like this. If I go on my left, kind of need to rotate around like that. All I'm trying to do is get the wrist, elbow and shoulder in line. So the way I'm doing this session is kind of bicep, tricep, and this is obviously a tricep one now. That's how that wee routine works. So if you're following along, well done. Got a brain on you. But what I've done now is I've just set the cables up high. I've put 2 cuffs on here, and I'm going to do like a crossover tricep push down, right? And the reason for that, or the reason I like this one, is because when you're doing it, as you'll see in a minute, it lets your arms just move the way they naturally want to move. There's no kind of fixed path for that. A lot of people use like, where is it? A lot of people use like this for a tricep push down, but it doesn't allow your elbows much freedom to move. And also like when you've got more of a neutral grip, like you'll find if you put an overhand grip, so this being an overhand grip, you'll find you need to internally rotate your shoulders a lot when you use the likes of this to get to that bottom position, but when we've got more of a neutral grip, we can keep our shoulders more where they need to be. So I've set these up high. I'm just going to put my hand in each of the cables, crossed over, of course. Hopefully I've got the same weight on each side. And then just stand somewhere in the middle, elbows locked down by my side, shoulders back. Go from there. When it comes to your tricep, much like the bicep, it crosses two joints. We've got the elbow joint and then we've got the shoulder joint again. So to fully lengthen your tricep, we need to be somewhere up here at least. You can go completely overhead, but some people just, I don't even really have much mobility to do that. So to get a fully lengthened tricep, about here is about as lengthened as it gets. Because as we go up here, our shoulder blade begins to move as well, and basically you're not getting much more length. And then a fully shortened tricep is back here. So it's kind of the opposite of the bicep scenario. It's fully shortened when the bicep is fully lengthened, and then vice versa, okay? So it's the same thing, just the other way around. So to place more emphasis on the shortened range on this, because again, we're starting with the more shortened range focus. We're starting with that more shortened range focus because it'll basically tire it first. We'll tire in the shortened range first compared to the lengthened range. So that's the idea behind it. Maybe overthinking it to some degree, but that's the way I like to think about it. So I'm just going to take an extra step back, and by pushing my arms out like a little bit in front of me like that, we're getting a bit more tension in that shortened range. It's maybe, again, like the bicep one, it's maybe not perfect, but it's close enough. So again, to reiterate on that, because a lot of people will say, when you're doing a tricep push down, should you be like directly underneath it almost, or should you be a little bit further back? It depends. It depends on what part of the range you're really trying to put emphasis on. You could just go like a normal push down where it's kind of going from, I mean, this will be the hardest point here, because that weight is furthest away from your joint. And then as we come up a little bit, it'll drop off a little bit. And as we get to the bottom, it drops off a lot. But because I was trying to target more into the shortened position, I'm pushing it out in front of me. So those cables are probably still as far away as they can be at the bottom position there. But the only real issue with that is, I told you guys earlier, the fully shortened position of the triceps back here. So we're actually not fully shortened, but again, you don't want to get too caught up in these details. I know I talk about them like that, but you don't want to get too carried away with it, because then you'll end up worrying about every little thing and nothing will be right. So yeah, you know, just think bigger picture. What's most important? We're about to do a little superset here, save ourselves a little bit of time. And this superset works really well together because we're sitting at the end of the bench and we're going to do like a bicep curl with dumbbells. And again, this time our chest is up, our shoulders are back. So again, we're moving that shoulder position. So we're getting into a bit more of a lengthened position with the dumbbells for our biceps. And then we're going to lay back and do some skull crushers again, getting into a bit more of a lengthened position with our triceps there. So we're up in kind of that sort of position that we talked about earlier. So it works well as a nice wee superset. So yeah, we'll crack on with that. Should obviously that we get into a bit more of a lengthened position with our biceps here. Just remember, just because you're in a lengthened position doesn't mean that's where there's like a lot of tension, because right now that dumbbell's right underneath my elbow, so there's like no torque demand on the biceps whatsoever. So when we're there, yeah, there's a shit ton, but that's more in the mid-range. But when we're in that lengthened position, there's not a lot of tension there. There's not any tension because the dumbbell is directly underneath the elbow, so there's no, as I say, no torque demand. And torque is basically what we're dealing with when we're moving joints. We're creating torque rotational forces, and torque is force times moment arm. And moment arm, I'm going to have to explain that now, is the perpendicular distance between the axis and the line of force. So right now, I've got a line of force here, axis there. So the moment arm is the length of my arm. But there, the line of force is there and the axis is there. There's no moment arm because there's no perpendicular distance. So you'll notice throughout this workout that I'm not using barbells at all. A lot of people jump to like barbell bicep curls or jump to easy bar, there we go, easy bar skull crushers. And the reason I don't use these is probably easiest explained by just doing this, right? So when you're in this supinated position, your palms are facing up the way, we will notice that the elbows are moving on an offset axis. And what I mean by that is like, they're not hinging straight up and down, right? They're going at this offset angle. So I would say my left, you're right, my left goes at a different angle to my right even, right? So when we're doing these exercises, like when I was using the cable, we want the line of force, which when I was using the cables was the cable, so we want that line of force to be in line with the way our arms are moving, right? So using a barbell, what's going to happen? If you're fixing yourself into this position, like if we use this bar here, if I'm fixing myself into there and I'm forcing myself to come up like that, that's going against the way that my elbow wants to hinge. So my joints aren't going to like that. And the best way to explain it is like if I was going to open a door, like if I was going to open that door over there, and I hung off this end of the door, put all my weight on it, the hinges wouldn't like it very much because the hinges don't want to move like that. So we're offsetting the force to the way the joint wants to move. So it's a bad idea. Over time, that could cause loads of different niggles and injuries, right? So I'm not saying do it once and your arms will be fucked. You might do it for the rest of your life and it might be all right, but is it worth taking the risk? What's the downside of using cables? What's the downside of using dumbbells? Dumbbells aren't even perfect. What I've been doing just there is not perfect, but it's certainly fucking better than that. Same with when it comes to skull crushers. So it kind of changes a little bit too. So if we're fully supinated, we're moving in a certain position. But if we just even move in a little bit and we're like kind of half supinated, well, that changes things a little bit, doesn't it? Because we're moving at a slightly different angle again. So actually, when we're like, the easy bar, for example, has us in that kind of half supinated position. For some people, that might be all right. And it just depends on the way that your elbows want to move. So remember, when you're doing biceps, you don't always have to be completely supinated. You could be here. And there's also neutral grip, because look, that changes things, doesn't it? So like the hammer curl sort of thing, that changes things too. So you get those bars, I forget what they call them, it's like football bars or something they call them, where they've got grips here. You know, something like that, sure, that works. So it's thinking about the joint, thinking about the way it moves and what position your joints are in as well. Like, are we here? Are we here? Are we here? Because again, that changes a lot quite dramatically. So again, for me, it makes no sense to use something like a barbell in a supinated position, because what are the pros of it compared to something else? There's none. There's no pros. They're actually just cons compared to using dumbbells and cables. So I'll always opt for that. And then, as I say, the same thing happens when you're doing skull crushers as well. So this is me in a skull crusher position. They're actually moving relatively straight. But then if we're grabbing a barbell, if we're grabbing the easy bar, we're in that position and that's less straight. So might be okay, depending on the way that your elbows hinge, might not. Safer to use the dumbbells in my opinion. Again, what is the downside? Absolutely none. What is the pros of it? We might potentially be moving in a better path for your elbows. So that is going to make more sense to me. Right, so now we're jumping on to dumbbell hammer curls, and this is one that you'll feel a bit more in the forearm and this kind of muscle here, so the brachioradialis. And it's not so much that it really increases its leverage, it's more that like the biceps will maybe drop off on how much leverage they've got to some degree, but they're still working. They're still going to be doing some work. It's just in that like neutral grip, you will feel it a bit more there, because the guys, I suppose, are taking a bit more of the load, I would say. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some of them, and then we'll move on to another tricep after that. Probably going to need a heavier weight for this. Notice even as I do them, even though we're in that neutral grip, my arms are still coming in. We're still seeing that angle that I was talking about. They just want to go in that angle. But again, having the dumbbells is giving us that freedom to choose where they want to go, choose what path we want to follow. Now I'm doing like an overhead kind of cable crossover tricep extension thing. To be honest with you, it's a bit of a cunt to get into this, but it's well worth the hassle because it's a nice sort of setup. So watch me gracefully get into this. Probably make a right cunt of this one as well. So opposite cable and opposite hand. The heavier this gets, the harder it gets to get in position. And then we're just keeping our elbows roughly about shoulder height, extending our arms out the way. Through the process of trial and error, I've actually found a much easier way to get into this. So, and just rest it on your shoulders. And then it becomes all of a sudden a lot easier to walk with. So this final exercise is just a bit of a finisher, to be honest. There's no real logic behind this one, it's just a bit of fun. I think that's one of the things, like, some of the stuff I talk about. You know, it's maybe sounds a little complicated, but you've got to remember with this stuff to have fun with it too. As long as you're not fucking yourself up, fucking your joints up along the way, because you want to do it for a long time as well. But this is a finisher like I put for quite a few of my clients because they just enjoy the pump, right? So most people's done 21s, right? 21s we know we do 7 half reps, and then 7 top half reps, and then 7 full reps. But in this one, it's called 21s cubed, right? So we're starting with an overhand grip, and we're doing 7 at the bottom half of the rep, and then we're doing an underhand grip, and we're doing 7 at the bottom half of the rep. Then neutral grip, 7 at the bottom half of the rep. You can see where this is going. And then top half of the rep, same thing again, overhand, underhand, neutral, 7, 7, 7, and then full reps, same again. So I'm a way to do that. That's why I've only got 10s in my hand. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, full reps. Jesus Christ. These are getting messy. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. Fucking hell. Jeez. It's funny how when you're doing bicep stuff, it seems to, like your go-to seems to be a calf raise. Like, how the fuck does that help? But feels like it helps. Well, that's job done for arms. So yeah, it was a fun wee session to be fair. As I say, I've not done a proper arm day in fucking years. But yeah, give it a try. Copy my session if you want. I'm not promising it'll get you big because it's not working for me. But maybe that's because I've not been training proper arms for years. So, you know, you just keep watching. You know, a few videos time, I'll be fucking massive. Either that or I'll get that smaller t-shirt I was talking about. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one and I hope you took something from it.